What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we're talking about Mulan. Mulan is the latest live-action Disney remake, and personally, it's actually one of the few I've been most excited about since I learned about its existence, because I've always been a huge fan of the original movie. That original film, at least in some ways, formed my youth and made me into who I am today. Partially for the music, which I love, but without a doubt, I love the characters and the story too. And it's the values in that original film that are endogenous to this version too, so let's get crackin'. This review is brought to you by the word of the day, endogenous. Having an internal cause or origin. Mulan takes place in ancient China when a group of warriors are causing panic as they invade land after land. To stop their ruin, China enlists a son from every family to fight the good fight, but Mulan's father is ill and has no sons of his own. So Mulan, in an effort to save her father's life, enlists in the war under the guise that she's actually a man, risking bringing dishonor on her family, country, and home. As I mentioned before, I grew up watching Disney's Mulan, so one thing that I had to remind myself while watching was just to leave those expectations that I had for it behind and accept whatever I found in this variation. I urge most of you to do the same exact thing as well, because this is a live-action remake that takes quite a bit of creative liberties. Is it the same story? Yeah, absolutely. Is it the same spirit? No, not exactly. If you have any expectations going into this film at all, you might be disappointed. Even though I was fighting the urge, I wanted to expect Mushu. Mushu wasn't there. Something else was, though. Nor were those funny ancestor statues there. Nor was the grandmother and the lucky cricket there. Nor was the memorable side characters in the war. And obviously the iconic music is also not there. A lot of these things you come to expect out of Mulan because that's a huge part of what the film is, and it helped form the attitude and spirit of that original Disney cartoon. But none of that is really necessary for this film to work. The only thing that's really necessary here is Mulan herself and the overall story. Now, personally, I actually think the film is much more impactful and important than it ever has been before. By getting rid of the grandma, the cricket, ancestor statues, Mushu, and silly war characters, the film got significantly more mature and developed a much more meaningful backbone. In short, it grew up. More than that, the film had a much more important stance on feminism. The original cartoon had that as well, but throughout the decisions Mulan makes in this movie, it feels less like something Mulan is obligated to experience and much more like something that she voluntarily faces, which in turn empowers her as a capable character. I also love that her character was introduced as somebody who has always had the potential to do more, but was always held back by societal expectations. That original Disney cartoon is a classic. It's unforgettable, for sure. But I would actually argue that this version did a much better job at portraying the direty of why this was actually important to everybody. Not only that, but this film introduced a new villain that wasn't in that original cartoon, and she mirrored Mulan's own experiences, as this villainous group of men warriors also have a lone woman on their team who is basically in there for feminist belief reasons too. Finally, from just a technical vantage point, this film is gorgeous. It really is. It has a very keen eye on how lighting and color work, combined with the constantly impressive camera work, cinematography, and editing made for one heck of an unforgettable experience overall. If I had absolutely anything negative to say about it, it would be that in striving to be more serious, it sacrificed some of the characteristics that helped make the entire cast stand out in the original. What do I mean by that? I mean, a lot of the side characters are unimpressive and forgettable here. When thinking back to that original cartoon film, I can still picture every character as clear as freaking day. Everyone was really memorable in different ways, but the only character that was really, truly memorable here was Mulan herself. The rest of the crew fighting in the war was forgettable, and like I said, there was no Mushu either, so they didn't have that going for them. They also removed the love interest of the captain, probably in reflection of the, Me Too movement, where authority figures hitting on those under them can be seen as creepy. The love interest part was sort of replaced in a different character, but that's not as unique or picture perfect as the captain was in the first film. So, is it a perfect movie? Nope, not really, but I think I can easily say that it is my newest favorite live-action Disney remake. That used to be Cinderella because that film changed things up. It answered some questions I've always had, like why are the evil stepsisters evil in the first place? Mulan basically did the same exact thing, except Mulan has always had the better story, so now I prefer this over any of the others. So let's go ahead and take a look at my final rating. From an unbiased vantage point, there's a lot of great stuff going on behind the scenes like visuals, cinematography, editing, and even music and sound, even though it's not the same as the original. That score is 90%, but from my personal bias point of view, I actually had a great time with it, so that score's 96%. Averaging out these two scores together, we come to a final rating of 93%. 93 out of 100 possible stars, granting Mulan with a letter grade of A. Guys, I want to hear your thoughts on Mulan in the comment section down below. Which Disney live-action remake do you think is the best of the best? As for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit this thumbs up button if you enjoyed this review, because there's always more like it coming out each and every single day. Hit the subscribe button and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, guys, peace out!
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us.